microphone from Rock Band Beatles Edition. Oh, I'm live. Hey. For those of you in the chat, give me a hello, a thumbs up to make sure that you can hear me. I'm using this amazing microphone right here. It's really cool because what I like to do is I like to teach most of my lessons from over there. I like to teach most of my lessons from the Elmo camera. But unfortunately, the microphone here isn't, oh, you saw my hand. Sorry, you can't see this. Shut up. The microphone here isn't caught by my voice over there, so I have the microphone here. So it really sounds like I'm doing an NPR episode, or it sounds like I'm doing an ASMR video. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they're so creepy. Right? Can you all hear that in the chat? It's so creepy. Have you seen the ones where it's like a microphone with two ears on the side? You know what I'm talking about? No? Oh, these stupid ASMR videos. They're so stupid and dumb. Anyway, I gotta stop them. Huh? Dude, they do make money. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Anyway, back to this. Here's my goal for today. There was no summer math for Algebra 2 because of all this COVID stuff. But I still need to know. Somebody just said ASMR is my life. Hey. Where was I? I lost my train of thought because of this kid. Summer math, thank you. There was no summer math, but I still need to know where you're at. I still need to know where you're at mathematically. So part of my goal for today is to give you an online quizzes that will allow me to see where you're at in a general sense. This quizzes does not count against you. This quizzes will not be reflected in your grade at all. But I do need you to take it seriously, and I do need you to put in your full effort to get this quizzes done. Now, obviously, if you're in the chat right now, if you are in my Thursday class, you are going to get this quizzes tomorrow. As I told this class here, if you are in class on one day, you are not required to be in the chat or the live stream for the other day. And vice versa. If I see you on Thursday, you're not required to be here on Wednesday for the live stream. So just as a heads up, I'm going to be doing the same thing tomorrow. But I am going to be giving you quizzes on the computers. Now, I want you to put forth a full effort. It's going to take roughly a half hour to get that thing done for most of you. For some of you, you might get it done in like 20 minutes. Who knows? But I'm going to give you roughly a half hour. Then, for those people who do end up finishing early, I am going to be assigning you the information, the directions for accessing your online textbook. The online textbook is pretty sweet, but I got to make sure that you know how to access it. So I'm going to be putting that information on Google Classroom, probably in the middle of the quizzes while you're working on it. Then, when the quizzes is over, I would like to review various problems that I am going to ask you to put into your notes when we get there. Yay, happy day, high fives all around. My day today is super long. You guys are third period, right? I have a homeroom. I teach first, I teach second, I teach third, and then I have a hall duty in the first half of fourth, which means from 7 o'clock to noon, 7 o'clock to noon, no breaks, nonstop, 5 hours. I'm pumped. I'm probably only a quarter of the way down on my coffee. I haven't drunken that much of it, but I am always super hyped. You're going to see that's going to be much the case. I'm going to see you at 10 o'clock each day. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, if you were in the live stream, he says 5 bars, 5 minutes. What does that mean? What is 5 bars, 5 minutes? Explain yourself. On YouTube, I have like the volume is like 6 circles. Explain yourself. This is NPR. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, my 5 hours, it's going to be basically today and tomorrow that my schedule is like that. So, but you guys are going to get me at the end of kind of a flurry of first and second period, but I'm always going to be hyped. Last thing before we get started. Next week, you will be given an enrichment activity. Have you been told about enrichment activities? Okay. So for example, I see all of you on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, you're at home, correct? Okay. When you're at home, your teachers should be assigning you an READ activity. It's an acronym for Remote Enrichment Activity, and then I forget the last word. What is this? Cinnamon. What is he saying? Declan, do I have to block you? I might block him. Should I block him?
Yeah, no, that kid sucks. No, don't block him. He's like my best friend, but he sucks. No, leave him alone.
So what do I do? Oh, okay. I might have to block him. Anyway, where was I with this? Right. Read. I don't know what the D is, but it could be duh. I don't know. I was going to say darling, but whatever. But anyway, you're getting a benchmark next week.
But it doesn't count.
Sorry. That's a +5 for you. Oh, he says that you smell. Okay, but yeah, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. It does not count against you. And I know what's going to happen, basically. Like, you guys are going to be taking it as an enrichment thing. You're like, I'm not going to take it seriously. Like 90% of the students who do. But again, like, just try your best on it, you know. But that's what's going to happen for next week. Typically, the read assessments are going to be random stuff that I assigned you on Google Classroom. It may be trying to reinforce information that I taught you in a previous class period, or trying to introduce new topics that I'm going to be doing for you. But that's basically what's going to happen. So Wednesday, I have you in class. You guys on Thursday will get an enrichment activity assigned to you. On Fridays, we go all virtual, in which I will have Google Classrooms open and available for everybody. These not Google Classrooms, I'm sorry, Google Meets. Google Meets. It's an opportunity to see you guys. It's an opportunity to answer your questions. It's an opportunity for you to show me work if I need to see that work and correct it then and there. It's mainly to connect with the virtual students, but it is going to be available to you during that time. It's like a 45-minute window, and I'm going to have the Google Meet for like maybe a half an hour of that time, just to kind of give you the time to do whatever. But I'm going to make myself available. More instructions will be online in the coming days. So, all right. In the meantime, I need you to break out those Chromebooks. If you're in the chat, I'm going to delete that comment that Declan made. Let's see. Remove. There we go. If you're in the chat, obviously you're already on a computer, but I'm going to need you to go to quizzes.com. We're going to get this started. I'm also going to suggest for all of you here and all of you at home, have a separate piece of scratch paper. I am not going to collect that scratch paper, but I'm going to suggest that you have it out to do these problems. On your Chromebooks, you should automatically have a TI-84 calculator app. Is that correct? You'll see. Log on. You'll see. You'll see. You had a question? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's there for. If you need anything from this desk up here, please, by all means, take it. Just please make sure you're not congregating up here with other people. You know, but whatever you need. There's erasers up there, whatever you need. No touching. You ever see Arrested Development? Has anyone? You know what I'm talking? There you go. There. Only the first 3 seasons. Don't watch anything past season 3. Yeah. It's so terrible. There. Oh, sorry. That's going to be the one drawback of that desk. You know. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Quizzes. My library. Oh, not the Marquee quiz. Go back. We did the Marquee quiz already. There it is. Well, the Marquee quiz I made available for everybody in the chat on Thursday. Continue. There it is. Now, for those of you in the chat, oh, you can't see it at all. Duh. Let me bring this over here. For those of you in the chat, you may not be able to see the code because the code might be covered by a giant ball of light. I'm currently working on figuring out a way to get past that. So the code for you all in the chat is 759043. 759043. Join with your real name, please. That would be helpful, of course. Again, these scores do not count against you. This is mainly me trying to figure out where are you at mathematically, so that I know kind of how to proceed in the coming weeks. I know the general direction that I'm going to go, but I need to know if I need to review any major concepts with you. So you got to join. It's not going to start till I click it. So join. Go to joinmyquiz.com. Oh, that was a loud noise. Join using the code, but the thing will not start until I say so. There we go. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 in here, and it looks like we got about 5 or 6 on the chat. Give an opportunity to join. We'll kind of go from there. Today is such a weird day. Today I taught AP Stat, first period. She's talking about like high caliber advanced placement students. Then second period, I taught a senior elective called the Mathematics of Sports, which is like kids who didn't even realize this class was like a real math class. Yeah, we were doing an insane calculation for stuff today, and one kid literally looks at me and says, he's like, "This is a math class?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, math of sports. What did you think this was going to be?" He's like, "I thought we were going to watch movies." I'm like, "Oh, dude." So, but then I'm teaching you guys Algebra 2 CP. Not to denigrate anybody taking Algebra 2 CP, because you need a third year of math, right? Yeah, just saying. Unless you're like a freshman or a sophomore. I don't know. Any sophomores in here? Any freshmen? There was one year I was teaching Algebra 2, and it's just weird situation where there were kids running around in the hallway, and I made a joke about freshmen. I'm like, "Oh, stupid freshmen. Let's go get them. Let's go beat up them freshmen." And the kids in the class were like, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's go beat up some freshmen. Yeah, yeah." And they were all getting hot. Then there's this one kid in the corner over here who was a freshman. And he literally, without skipping a beat, "Yeah, guys, let's get him." Like, that was cool. Anyway, all right, we all ready? The code will be on the board regardless, just in case somebody didn't get an opportunity to join. Make sure you have that scratch piece of paper. Did everybody check the TI-84 app? There's an app on your Chromebook on the bottom. There's a little icon that you can click, and what pops a calculator for you? Nice. Like I said, during the test, I'm going to assign something to Google Classroom. I'm going to assign something to Google Classrooms for you to access your online textbook. If you get done with the quizzes early, please make sure you look at that assignment and get to your online textbook. Here we go. I'm going to try to mute the volume. Absolutely. Whatever he needs up there. It doesn't count against you. Like I said, I'm aiming for a half an hour, roughly. So this should take us to approximately 10:40, 10:45. for you guys that get things, or who are in the chat or who are in the classroom who are done now, obviously there's still roughly 15 minutes that I want to devote to this. But if you are done, if you go to Google Classroom, I have assigned the instructions for accessing your online textbook. Please make sure you read carefully, because once you're done, I want you to submit that you actually have been able to access your online textbook. But you want to mess around with that a little bit and just see what the textbook looks like and just kind of get a feel for the controls of being able to flip through chapters and pages. Just because I'm going to be assigning you random things throughout the year, whether it be reading a certain section or doing various problems on certain pages. So you want to make sure you're familiar with how to use that. If you're done, or when you're done, go to Google Classroom, do the online textbook thing. If you don't do the online textbook thing today, you could always do that another day, and that's perfectly fine. There's a due date on there, but whatever. If you do get on the online textbook page, there's a link in the top right corner of the window where it says ebook. If you click that, that actually takes you to your online textbook.
Wait, so that code that's on this slide, that's the redemption code?
as the Adventure Code class code was in the Google classroom assignment. It's gonna be nice not having to carry around 1,000 textbooks like you're a middle school kid with a giant backpack. You know, not that I'm stereotyping.
I was able to get into the textbook.
So yeah,
I was able to get into the textbook.
on Google Classroom, there should be an option to like submit the assignment.
Just like Marcus does.
Yeah, Mark has done something like that, and then I go in and actually like confirm, because I can go on the online textbook and confirm that you actually joined using that class code.
Oh, wait, once I get to that screen, then I hit ebook.
Yes, if you click ebook, it'll actually take you to the textbook where you can practice kind of messing around, looking between pages and chapters to see what it looks like. Yes, that is the textbook. Pretty efficient. Obviously, going through page by page in the beginning is kind of like hard, but there is an option, I believe, to search page, or maybe not search page, but like here, for example. Yeah, you can flip between chapters. You guys are very close. Yesterday's class was able to get 63%. No pressure. Should be, yeah. There's a possibility.
Oh, yeah, the last one was,
There we go. Top left, there's a weird horizontal line. There we go. What'd you guys get percentage-wise? Does it say? What's the class percentage? The other class got 63. I want to see what you got. Let's see here. Reports. Looks like you guys got 61. Very close. All right, let's figure this junk out. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to ask of you, I would like to review various problems with you right now. And in order to do that, I would like for those notebooks to be out and open. Right now, you don't need the Chromebook for the rest of this particular class period, so you can shut down, except obviously if you're online right now in the chat, you can stay where you are. But if you're in my class right now, you can just close up that Chromebook, and I need those notebooks out and open. Ah, interesting. What do you mean? Like, do you type things out? Because mathematics is much easier, much easier to be done written out. Yeah, I'm just suggesting, because I know some people who do take notes mathematics-wise on the Chromebook, but especially for like an algebra class. Let me give you an example. Yes, let me give you an example. Because I love this example. Imagine that you are a kid that walks up to a sandbox. Have you heard this before? Cool. You walk up to a sandbox. You're a little kid. You want to play in that sandbox. Sitting right on top of that sandbox is a quarter. As a kid, what are you going to do? You're going to take it. You wouldn't even think twice about it. It's your quarter now, right? Yeah. The next day, you walk up to that sandbox, and somebody tells you, hey, there's a quarter buried in the sandbox. Now, let's say they're telling the truth. So, as a little kid, you're going to walk up to that sandbox, and you're going to do one of these. You're just going to be like, I can't find the quarter. I can't find it. Why can't I find the quarter? Huh? No, it's a different quarter buried in the sandbox. How come I can't find it? I just walked up and I went like this. I can't find it. I didn't dig through the dirt. See, because sometimes with mathematics, the key to properly understanding mathematics is a willingness to get your hands dirty. Motivation. Anyway, back to this. It's a metaphor for life. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Click. Okay. There are various problems that you can see on the live stream that are marked in red. And those are the problems that I would like to focus on. If we have time, maybe we'll get to the yellow ones, but I want to focus on the ones that are marked in red right now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back and forth between this screen. This screen is everything that is underneath my Elmo camera. Let's zoom back out right there. There we go. Let me get rid of that number on the board. One day this year, I guarantee you it'll happen. One day this year, I am probably going to trip and crack my head open. Just giving you the heads up. There. At that point, when the blood is rushing out of my head and the life is slowly leaving my body, I am hoping at that moment that someone will at least chuckle and say, oh, wow, he was right. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, so, boom. Let's talk about this first problem right here. Now, what I'm going to suggest to you, this is, I'm going to give you a title. Title here is Quizzes Review. I don't know how to spell quizzes, but I don't care. But Quizzes Review Algebra 2. I'm a poet who wasn't aware. Today is the 9th. Instead of a poet who didn't know it. Whatever, nobody gets me. Nobody gets me. Huh? Psh. The type of jokes that I typically tell are the type of jokes where people don't actually laugh out loud. It's where they expel a little bit of air out their nose. Like that. Anyway, it's number one. It says a function is defined as this. So here's number one on the quizzes. They tell you that f of x is equal to negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. Oh, you can't see it there. There it is. And they want to know, what is f of negative 1? That's what they want to know. What is f of negative 1? Now, again, for those of you in the chat, I do apologize. There is a glaring ball of light in the middle of the screen. I'm currently working on alternative plans to kind of work around that. But until then, we just have to kind of work with it. No, turning off these lights won't do it. It'll actually make it worse because the ball of light is coming from the projector itself. Yeah, I know. Here, watch. I'll show you what I mean. Where is it? Come on, you. There it is right there. That's what they're seeing on the live stream. Oh, dude, this is like Inception. Yeah, but that's the ball of light that they're seeing. So anyway, get rid of that. Bring that back up. There we go. Cool. So ultimately, function notation. Function notation is a series of inputs and outputs. Something is plugged into the function, and then something comes out of the function. Function notation is the basis for a lot of computer programming and things of that nature. It's not something that you normally see in real life. But I mean, I guess to an extent, you put money into a vending machine, you type in a couple of buttons, there's your input, and then what's supposed to be the output? Like the food or the soda or whatever it is you're getting, there's an input and an output. It's basic function notation. Now, in this case, the function is programmed to be negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. And they want to know, okay, if I take a negative 1 and I shove it into this function, mathematics is violent. If I shove it into this function, what comes out? So instead of f of x, they're saying, hey, evaluate f of negative 1, which means that a negative 1 is replacing all of these x's inside of the function. A negative 1 is replacing all of these x's within inside the function. And then it is your job to properly use everybody's favorite Aunt Sally to get this thing done. We got to follow PEMDAS. Now, again, if you type this into the calculator, I just want to show you something real quick on the calculator. A little bit of an issue. What happens when you square a negative 1? What happens when you square a negative 1? Should, right? Watch this. Zoom, 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 zoom. Here's my graphing calculator. Negative 1 squared. You ready? What happened? Huh? Say again? Just take away the negative? What? I don't know what he said. What did he say? I didn't say anything, but can you put parentheses around it? Yes. Parentheses will save your life. See, again, this is just one of the more basic things that a lot of students end up messing up. Here's the thing. When you type something into the calculator, and you get an answer, do you automatically trust that the calculator is telling you the truth? A lot of kids do, though. A lot of kids do. You might not, but a lot of kids do. I don't. I don't trust the calculator as far as I can throw it, which is not that far. But in this case, ladies and gentlemen, if you're squaring this negative 1, what the calculator is doing is it's squaring the 1 and then multiplying it by a negative. Whereas here, it's actually taking negative 1 times negative 1. We have to know how to properly use it. You're going to have these TI-84s on your Chromebooks, but you have to know how to properly use them. I'm just saying you got to be careful. Anywho, forgot my marker. Let's see what we got here. Zoom back out. So in this case, I'm going to take it step by step. I'm going to take it kind of slow. We're going to multiply the -1 by itself and get a +1. There's the +1 right there. Let me just leave everything else temporarily. And then this becomes, well, -3 because you multiply them, plus -2 because you multiply them, minus 5. Unfortunately, you got to be very aware as to what's a minus sign and what's a negative sign. You just got to be very aware of that. Please be very careful, especially in your graphing calculator. But if you do this correctly, you get a -10. And that should be the answer. I'll check to see why it was red in a moment on the quizzes. But what they're basically saying is with an input of -1, you get an output of -10. -1 is shoved into the function. -10 comes out of the function. Inputs are typically your x values. Outputs are typically your y values, which means that this is actually the ordered pair you can't say it. This is the ordered pair -1, -10. If I were to graph this, which we will eventually do, but if I were to graph this, -1, -10 would be a point on the graph. Inputs versus outputs. Let's see. It looks like 7 of you got this wrong. 4 of you got this right. But yes, the answer was indeed -10. Let's jump to number 7. Oh, here we go. Looks like 8 of you got this wrong, and only 3 of you got this right. Now, mind you, that's combined, you guys and whoever was online at the same time. How many are in here right now? There's like 9 in here? Yeah, there's 9 of you in here, so there's only 2 people online? That's weird. Anyway, so let me write down a couple things. TJE, that's wrong. It says, which describes the relationship between the 2 lines. Okay, so number 7. I'll show you what I'm writing in a moment. I'm not even going to look at the choices. Okay, boom. This is what you're writing down into your notes, of course. What is the relationship? What type of equations are these? What type of equations are these? Slope intercept. So what would it look like if I graphed them? What would the graph look like, though? Like in basic terms. Don't think math terms. Just like if I type this into my graphing calculator, what would the screen show me? Think very simply. 2 lines. It would just show me 2 lines. Absolutely, yes, it would. Okay. Think about the relationship between 2 lines. Clearly, these are not the same equation. If they're not the same equation, then they're going to be 2 separate lines. Okay. One has a slope of +2. One has a slope of 1/2. Let me just write a little note here. Parallel lines have the same slope, which means that these 2 lines are not the same. These 2 lines are definitely not the same. Or, I'm sorry, they're definitely not parallel, I should say. One is 2 and one is 1/2. Let me double check. Yeah, 2 and 1/2. I was just double checking. Perpendicular lines have, oh my goodness, perpendicular lines? Perpendicular means they cross at a 90-degree angle. Cool. 90-degree angle, but that doesn't help me right now. Perpendicular lines, what's true about their slope? Opposite reciprocal. Opposite / reciprocal slopes. One slope is a 2, one slope is a 1/2. They're definitely reciprocal, but they're not opposite. They're definitely reciprocal, but they're not opposite. Okay. Definitely not parallel, definitely not perpendicular. They're definitely not the same line. If they were the same line, they'd have the exact same equation. The answer has to be they intersect. But other than that, there's nothing special about them. If I click this, yep, there it is. The lines intersect, but are not perpendicular. That was the answer to this question. Let's jump. Let's jump. Where am I jumping to? Let's see number 9. Oh, goodness. We hit the jackpot. We hit the jackpot with number 9. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'm just going to write down a little bit of information here. Number 9. Number 9 says the equation has a slope of -2/7 and contains the point 5, -6. Okay. And question for you all. Look at the answers here. What form of an equation is that in? Because that's not slope-intercept form. That is not slope-intercept form. It's something that is not very commonly used. But it's something that they teach you in Algebra 1. It's something that I'm going to be not really focusing on in Algebra 2. But it's not slope-intercept form. It's not y equals mx plus b. It's not that. It's still a line. It's still a line, a straight line. Any ideas? Point slope form. Point slope form. The answers are in point slope form. Now, unfortunately, with point slope form, this is something that is not commonly used at the algebra level. It's more commonly used in the trigonometry pre-calculus calculus level. Point slope form. But with point slope form, it is literally take the numbers that they give you, plug it into the proper location. That is point slope form. In order to use point slope form, you just need to plug in a point and plug in a slope. Simplify a tiny bit and you're done. What I mean by that is this. They give you this ordered pair, x1, y1. They give you that ordered pair. Literally take those numbers and put it in for x1 and put it in for y1. Take the slope, which is your m, plug it in for the m. Let's just see what happens. Y minus -6. Oh, what does that become? Y minus -6. Minusing a negative. Come on, pre-algebra people. Comes positive. You ever keep change? Is that what they call it? You ever learn it? Oh, whatever. Some people learn it like that, though. Keep change. But yeah, that becomes positive, equals the slope -2/7, parentheses, x minus 5. I am not even kidding you. That is the answer. That's all that you had to do for that problem. It's just, watch this. Click. What answer was it? A, B, C, or D? Is it A? Click. Yep, there it is. Looks like an even distribution across the board. Nice. What is this? What is this? Whatever. I'm not taking that. Whatever. Sorry, I'm getting emails about meetings and I don't want to go to. Let's look at number 13. We got 2 more problems to do. Oh, here we go. Which of the following is the graph of that equation? I'm not going to write this one down. I just want you to kind of see it real quick. Which is the graph of that equation? For those of you looking in the chat right here, I can write this one in, to the side a little bit just to kind of see what it looks like. Y equals -x² minus 6x plus 3. What type of equation is that? What type of equation is that? It's not a line. It's not slope-intercept form. It's not point-slope form. What is it? Starts with a Q, ends with a quadratic. You got it. You nailed it. Great job, everyone. But it's a quadratic. Look at the type of answers that they gave you on this one. What shape of the graph is that? That's a special name that they give to this graph. Second? Parabolas. It's a parabola. Parabola. It's a parabola. They're all parabolas. Now, there's several things that you can do here. One thing you can do, if you recognize how to graph parabolas, you may recognize the fact that there's a negative as the a value, which means that this parabola should be opening up down It should be opening down, which immediately brings you to these two choices. But then at that point, it's like, well, what do I do next? Here's your best case scenario. If you were ever faced with this type of problem and you have a graphing calculator, carefully and correctly, just type in the equation into your y equals key. If you type it into your y equals key and just hit graph, 2 seconds, done. You got it. Otherwise, there is going to be a lesson coming up in the next few weeks where I am going to focus pretty distinctly, maybe like one lesson, where I focus very focusedly, I don't even know what to say, on graphing these. And I'm going to show you the easiest way to graph these by hand. The easiest way to graph them by hand. It is quite possibly the best way to graph them by hand. But in lieu of that, if you have a graphing calculator, just type it into your y equals key. Just make sure that you type it in correctly. Just make sure that you type it in correctly. Here, let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. Let me see here. I'm going to type in two equations here. Okay, there's the equation. Negative x squared minus 6x plus 3. Boom. Let me zoom in right here. Do I have that typed into my y equals key? Right? Right? I have it typed into my y equals k. So you are an average Algebra 2 CP student. You're like, yep, I got it. I'm going to type this in. Oh, happy day. I am about to get my correct answer. You ready? At this point, if you've ever seen this screen, do you just kind of like your brain shut down a little bit? Do you know why it went wrong? Look what's being blinked on right now. You do not need the 1. Look at the difference between these two equations. There's a negative sign that you have to hit, not the minus sign in front of the x squared. You have to be very precise. There is a minus sign and there's a negative sign, and they are two different buttons. If I get rid of this, now all of a sudden I know exactly what my answer is. Opening down on the left side of the graph. Oh, happy day. That's why this one was, you can see it right here. C. Finally, this problem. I love this problem. Let's just write it down real quick, and we'll finish up with this. This was number 20. Number 20, 1 over negative 4 to the negative 2 power. I'm going to say this very simply to you all. A negative exponent means that you have to take the reciprocal of the base. I'll repeat that statement. A negative exponent means that you have to take the reciprocal of the base. The base here is 1 over negative 4. Meaning, if I took the reciprocal, then it would become a negative 4. But as a result, this negative exponent turns positive. We're going to focus a bit more on that. I believe in chapter 5. I'm going to have some exponent rules for you. But regardless, the answer was 16. Please check your Google Classroom for your online textbook if you haven't already done that. And maybe I'll see you guys on Friday face-to-face on Google Meet. See y'all later.